sejahtera buat kita semua. Selamat datang di webinar kita pada siang hari ini, dan terima kasih telah meluangkan waktu untuk dapat bergabung bersama kami di webinar di siang hari ini. Semoga Sobat Tiara yang hadir pada saat ini semua dalam keadaan sehat dan semangat agar kita dapat mengikuti webinar ini dari awal hingga akhir dengan baik tanpa kurang suatu apapun. Perkenalkan, nama saya Joseph Daniel Alfa Corrado, saya Reliability Teknologi Sales dari PT Tiara Vibrasindo Pratama yang akan menjadi moderator dan akan menemani Bapak dan Ibu Sobat Tiara sekalian selama beberapa waktu ke depan. Baik, mungkin Sobat Tiara sekalian sudah tahu untuk topik hari ini, di mana kita akan mengangkat sebuah topik, yaitu Artesis Electrical Signature Analysis in Action, a smarter approach to early detection of electrical and mechanical faults. Topik ini kita bawakan karena kita percaya dalam dunia industri saat ini salah satu tantangan terbesar yang kita hadapi bukan hanya untuk mendeteksi kerusakan dari sebuah equipment, tetapi bagaimana kita dapat mendeteksinya lebih dini atau lebih awal, sebelum menyebabkan downtime yang tidak direncanakan, yang di mana dapat meningkatkan biaya perawatan dan juga mengganggu kondisi operasional di perusahaan Bapak. Selama ini mungkin banyak dari kita mengandalkan seperti metode menggunakan vibration monitoring atau menggunakan motor circuit analysis, infrared, dan seterusnya. Metode tersebut tentunya sangat bermanfaat, namun seringkali memiliki keterbatasan, seperti MCA harus ada saat kebutuhan shutdown atau offline condition, ataupun menggunakan vibration monitoring diperlukan pemasangan sensor yang tepat, dan seterusnya. Dan ada beberapa kesulitan yang dapat untuk menangkap kondisi aktual saat mesin beroperasi. Di sinilah Artesis memberikan sebuah solusi. Artesis sendiri memberikan sebuah solusi menggunakan model-based motion assessment yang menggunakan metode pengukuran listrik, yaitu dari tegangan dan arus, untuk mengevaluasi tidak hanya dari sisi electrical motor, namun dari sisi perilaku terhadap metode yang hanya menganalisa populasinya, menggunakan model fisik. Harapkan dari sisi electrical tanpa perlunya pemasangan sensor tambahan dan tanpa menghentikan operasi. Jadi Artesis ini dapat dilakukan saat online condition. Dengan kata lain, kita tidak hanya dapat melihat gejala, tapi memahami bagaimana motor kita benar-benar bekerja dalam kondisi operasionalnya. Tentunya kami PT Tiara Vibrasindo Pertama sudah bekerja sama dengan Artesis sebagai partner distributor di Indonesia dan memberikan condition monitoring services dengan beberapa customer kami di berbagai sektor industri. Tentunya kami juga sudah berpengalaman dan dalam pengaplikasiannya melalui kompetensi engineer kami yang telah tersertifikasi di bidangnya. Bapak Ganes. Halo. Cek. Maaf, seperti tadi ada gangguan. Oke, saya akan lanjutkan. Kita akan mendengarkan sesi pemaparan materi dari speaker kita hari ini, yaitu Bapak Danes, Sales Manager dari Artesis Teknologi Sistem, yang akan saya sapa sebentar. Halo Bapak, good morning.
Hello, dear Joseph.
Hello, how are you? Can you hear
hello
me?
to all the audiences, and actually good afternoon for you all.
Good afternoon.
And thanks for the invitation for the webinar.
Thank you very much for your time to be with us today as our speaker. We truly appreciate your availability and your support for this session. So I have briefly opened the webinar and share a quick overview of this topic, which is Artesis ESA in Action, a smarter approach to early detection of electrical and mechanical faults. So I have done the introduction in place, so I believe now we can hear directly from you, and please take us deeper into the topics. So without further delay, now you can carry this session. Time is yours, and before that, you can introduce yourself, a company about the Artesis, and you can bring the presentation. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, dear Joseph, for the actually great content that you shared so far. The videos all were impressive, and the introduction. And hello for all our audience. Actually, I'm Babak Danish, and I'm the Sales and Business Development Manager in Artesis. And regarding the Artesis background, I will provide some actually short introduction. Then we will move in details how this technology can save your assets from the actually unplanned downtime and actually costly inefficiencies, and how you can actually have this uh, optimization and actually the cut the downtime and energy waste with Artesis. Well, on early 1990s, Professor Ahmet Duyar, who was originally from Turkey and was living in United States since 1960s, uh, he actually discovered some algorithms when he was working for NASA. He observed that actually mechanical and electrical faults are observable and detectable through the electrical signals. All right. Here, this is really important for our flow of the our actually presentation. I will actually explain in more detail. But what I would like to mention historically, on 1990s, and Professor Ahmet Duyar, who was actually chairperson in actually university in United States, he had this observation and he published scientific articles. In 1995, while his actually retirement, he got invitation from Turkish uh, company called Arçelik, which is one of the great companies in Koç Group in Turkey. And following this invitation, he started to build his own R&D team, and he worked on electrical signature analysis officially since 1999. So I started with the name of Artesis. So what does Artesis mean? Arçelik Technology Systems. So the root goes to Arçelik, a Turkish giant actually company in 1990s, in 1999. Arçelik provided to Mr. Professor Ahmet Duyar huge data set of motors, huge motor shop, and they had every facility they wanted. With his team, he observed that, as I mentioned, he theoretized electrical signature analysis, and he had lots of tested. And officially, since 2000, Artesis provided its market. He provided its product to the market, and since 2010, I will explain in detail. Artesis is the actually uh, GE Baker Hughes affiliated company. So to avoid unplanned stops, energy dominating costs, and maintenance teams actually reaction, and to avoid the when you visit actually factories, he observed all of these, that there are unplanned stops in factories, despite the fact that he was coming from academy, but he was a professor of mechanical engineering and control department. And Professor Ahmet Duyar was always in collaboration with industry, and he observed that there are these unplanned stops, energy dominating costs, firefighting mode for maintenance team, and actually projects with sensor everywhere. So actually, in this case, Professor Ahmet Duyar uh, provided these Artesis products to the market. Why actually these products matters now, considering the rising energy prices, environmentalist actions that we should take, considering global warming and all other factors that we are seeing year by year. Higher actually uptime we should reach now. Sustainability matters, unfortunately, after these wars that's now going all around the world, Ukrainian war, Middle East war. Energy prices are too high. We can't risk asset actually reliability anymore. And also one of the main factors, aging workforce. Gen Z does not want to be actually in the maintenance anymore. And technicians, it's really hard to find actually technicians in Gen Z and those born in actually 2000s and after. It would be really hard. So in order to close this gap, we should be smart, and we need smart condition monitoring. All right, about Artesis, actually, I provided you the history, and I actually mentioned Professor Ahmet Duyar. Artesis actually detects faults and provides meaningful data using electrical signature analysis, digital twin, and generative AI technology for your rotating assets. As I mentioned, deployed worldwide since 1999 and currently has official partners in more than 58 countries with, as I mentioned, NASA Origin technology and Baker Hughes affiliation. General Electric Baker Hughes affiliation since 2010. And Artesis had great projects in all around the world with actually key accounts like BP, Shell, and actually Sokar in Azerbaijan and Turkey, and most of the state-owned or private actually factories, companies in Turkey and worldwide in all the water, oil and gas, power, manufacturing, and commercial building industries. And we have two main products, EMCM and AMT Pro. PT Tiara teams actually they already shared the videos in this regard. So these two main products using OmniSite can clearly give you smart diagnostics and data. So let's talk about what you are going to get with Artesis. You get full coverage of all of the electrical, mechanical process, and pump performance monitoring from one connection point. Also, you have the energy and cost clarity per asset, and for all of your assets, fleet and management view. I will make a short demo for you as well. So you are going to have all of the energy efficiency data in your own currency and the CO2 impact. And also you can build business cases with real numbers, and you can provide the economical reports as well. So what else? Our latest actually update that last year we have released it is AI powered analysis, automatic diagnostics, and plain language actually diagnostics and reports are available with Artesis. So how does the system work, dear ladies and gentlemen? We get the data from motor control cabinet, just three-phase voltage and three-phase current. After this, we build the model considering this over always updating actually data set and physics. So Professor Ahmet Duyar, as I mentioned, he observed the physical equations, physical relations between mechanical faults, electrical faults, and waveform. All right. Also, he had a data set. I will explain in detail later, but there are four main engines work, and there are some really fantastic, actually, logic behind the system's work. But for here, just consider that there are some physical equations that if some changes happen there, we understand that there might be actually not might be, there will be fault, but there are also data sets that considering these data set, we can understand that there will be fault, your asset will experience any problem or not. And after this, we are doing electrical signature analysis AI, what does AI do? AI simplifies PSDs, trends, and all the necessary detail in plain language to you. You don't have to be ESA expert anymore to understand what's going on inside your asset. So, two ways to deploy Artesis. One is online, which we say 724. It doesn't matter, medium voltage, low voltage, with VFD, soft starter, totally doesn't matter. Also portable testing for actually portable ESA for scheduled condition monitoring. Let's say, assume your company, your factory has actually hundreds of assets. You do the schedule, and like this gentleman on right side, you go get your data, do the test, and then move on. All right. What does EMCM do? It connects to MCC. It covers mechanical, electrical, supply, and process faults. It clearly actually detects alarm and sends an email to the registered accounts. And it has been proven on pumps, fans, compressors, blowers, conveyors, and all the rotating equipment, as I mentioned, for more than 30 years. So here we always get one question, actually, that I would like to explain in detail. What is the learning time for EMCM to learn the asset normal and abnormal? And the most important question comes later, that we ask this question, we find out this question, that we receive this question. Is it possible that if my asset in the learning phase, in the initial condition that you install EMCM, it is in the faulty state, will it make a problem for future? In this condition, we answer that, dear gentlemen and ladies, please consider this fact that our actually model doesn't work only for actually your considering your asset. Considering your asset and huge data set and physics behind this, that there are some matrices on the background, we can detect even the initial condition. We have thousands of cases that we installed. Initial condition in the bar chart, it was super high. Then they have done the necessary actions, they have taken necessary actions. Then we can see that there is a reduction in the fault parameters. So initial condition does not matter at all. Here we have one sample actually installation. As you can see, just three-phase CT. In the videos also, PT Tiara team already showed you in one of the videos regarding EMCM. With probes, you can easily take the voltage. With the probes that we provide to you, you can take voltage, and with CTs, you can take current. And thankfully, our actually dear partner, PT Tiara team, always will be available for you if you have any installation or any actually support requirement beside our team. Here we have actually AMT Pro portable ESA solution. So for EMCM we need 3 days almost, but for AMT Pro, dear ladies and gentlemen, you need just 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Yes, you heard it right. 7 minutes. In 7 minutes, you can actually do the test, take the report, and as I mentioned, it is really great for less vital assets. For vital and crucial assets, you should consider EMCM. Why? Because it is online and 724 monitoring. Every second, each seconds, you can have the data and you can see the condition. But for the EMT, once a week, once in 2-3 days, it depends on the frequency you require, you can have the data. Well, here for AMT Pro, I just want to show you one sample report, sample AI report. In AI report, you have executive summary, list of detected issues, unbalance, and misalignment. For example, here, the fault explanation. Why this AI is really huge, actually, Artesis Insight AI actually is a huge revolutionary actually update. Why? You see the fault and it explains the reason, and it provides, later I will show you, and if we had time I will I will make a demo for you. Here you can actually see you have summary, you have list of detected issue, and you have then explanation why this actually fault occurs. Also you have the suggested actions. All right, let's watch the video, very short. Perfect. As you saw, this gentleman, Mr. Fadi, from United Arab Emirates, and the company is Adnok. Here, as you can see, we have our plugs, which are really simple to use, and we recommend to actually companies mid and above actually size companies that they have more than 100, 200 actually assets to install this R plug. This is really simple. You have 10 ampere or any other actually CT models based on your asset. CTs on the background, as you saw, in 20 seconds, you can do the installation with our plug simply, do the test, have the report, and see the condition, and avoid unplanned downtime and actually the stops that stops actually the downtime that stops your production. So here, simply Mr. Fadi showed that how safe and simple you can do the demos, and you can do the actually tests, electrical signature analysis tests with Artesis AMT Pro. If you don't have this R plug, what happens? If you do not have, you will actually, you have clamps which are simply, again, in less than 1 minute you can do the installation and you can move on. So here it is. You have everything necessary here. All right. Actually, Artesis technology generates a baseline after learning your asset. Where is this asset in my world? All right. First time is in one, from one side analytically it analyzes. From the other side, where is this asset in my world? Because it has millions of data, and it is almost not possible to some motors that not to fit in this data, because millions of motors are available in this data set. So after generating baseline, that how should this motor act, what is the actually normal condition, what is the alarm, and what is the caution, what is the really dangerous side for this motor, dangerous working condition. After defining this, we start the fault detection, and actually inside this baseline, after generating the model, inside this baseline with digital twin, you are going to have the deviation tracking, and it tracks electrical, mechanical, and process changes, all from what? Three-phase voltage and three-phase current, with mathematically with Fourier transform. Every change is meaningful. Every change has some reason in voltage and current, because all are related to each other. And electromotors, we say. Why do we say? Because there are electromechanical, actually, uh, physics behind this. Here, I would like to show you Omnisite Fleet View. For managers, this fleet view is really great. Why this can be actually great solution for the managers because they can see easily all the assets. Look at to the down actually right side. It's perfect. You can the manager can see which asset for how long was stopped, was working, and for how long it was actually not connected on overhaul, shutdown, anything. They can easily see. And all of them are SCADA OPC integratable. So on the left side, they can see the cost, how much cost I saved this month, and they can report to the top management based on these actually data we have saved that much, and or we should save that much with actually sending this asset to the shop. You can take actions wisely. In brief, in actually that is a general view. Now we will move on what? Now we will move on actually specific. Deep, let's dive in deep. So here, what you can observe for each asset on the management view, manage yourself. But for each asset, he or she wants to get the data. So easily, with actually clicking on the asset, the each asset's actually dashboard gonna open, and you are going to have all data, pump performance monitoring data, PSDs, the bar chart that shows the actually assets condition, electrical data with sequences for electrical team, actually negative sequences, harmonics, everything you feel like they are necessary. With Artesis Insight AI technology, actually, you easily, in plain language, you don't have to actually analyze here. See, let me show with pointer and laser. You don't have to be electrical signature analysis expert. Just one click, like every day you use ChatGPT, Gemini, Cloud, or any AI tool that you have, you are going to have, we train this actually uh, AI. Our R&D team worked for more than actually 2 years on this. So huge data set of all 30 years have been actually trained and educated for this actually AI power analysis. So with this plain language, you are going to have everything clear, and you are going to have all the data actually much more clearly and in plain language. See here, this is a sample report that we put here. Now actually it is updated. Short-term actions, immediate actions, long-term actions, and conclusion. Just in 3 pages, you have all the reports regarding actually the asset and whole asset as well, whole assets as well, like one site, one maybe the actually enterprise. It depends on your actually choice and preference that you want to deep dive in one asset or you want to observe all the data. So how generative AI works with electrical signature analysis, as I mentioned, you just actually get data from voltage and current for all rotating equipment, compressors, chillers. For all of them, we have case studies, dear gentlemen, that actually I saw the question. So deeply, I will answer after the presentation as well. But for now, we have case studies and we have references for compressors. So easily you can actually monitor compressors as well. All the rotating equipment, everything that works with three-phase voltage, three-phase current, we have the logic, we have the data set, and confidently, with more than 95 accuracy, we can provide you the data. Here, machine learning plus digital twin, then actually does what? Machine learning generates the model for your asset and for your old assets. Then large language models interprets what interprets the PSDs, trends, interprets the actually parameters like impedance or like any other parameter that are important. After this, LLM interprets and in plain language provides you the necessary data. You don't have to dive deeply, look at the sequences, harmonics, etc. Inside the dashboard. Just click one button and you have the, like you are having an expert with 30 years of experience in rotating equipment maintenance and reliability. So, regarding the workflow, you can easily monitor, detect, analyze, report, and act with Artesis. Well, let's talk a little bit as well from over one of the actually much more attractive actual features, which is pump performance monitoring. No extra instrument needed. You can easily observe. We have one great case study that I will show you. We got the prize from Turkish Ministry for this case study. We can provide you the data for best efficiency point and actually your current operating point. So you can see yourself, where am I? Am I in the green region, green zone, which I should be, or I am in the region that actually that inefficient, that which is inefficient. Also, you can find out hydraulic issues much more earlier with pump analysis tab that you are going to have. Shall I trim? Shall I install VFD? Shall I actually change with VFD or change the VFD? All of data you are going to have in the suggestion part. Well, energy and cost analysis part. You are going to have this actually efficiency monitoring as well, that how efficiently I am actually operating and what is the possible cost for my inefficiency, and you will do then the trade-off analysis, and it does for you. You can analyze and actually get more data. Here we have case study for chemical reactor, and uh, as you can see, the actually predictive maintenance technology saved 1.35 millions of dollars for our customer, and 3 days of actually unplanned shutdown avoided. Yeah. Here we have a case study for blower, which due to electrical losses, almost $7.3 thousand of energy waste was occurring, and 20% of energy actually was wasting. And thanks to Artesis find out, we have actually got this case as well, and now customer can save 20% of energy. Here we have the case study that I would like to mention, which regarding this actually the mine, gold mine, that we get the governmental state prize for this. For pump performance monitoring, 56% of energy actually reduced, and $30,000 for just one asset. Then they increased for lots of assets saved. And in 1.3 years, they have got the return of investment. Regarding the deployment and security, easily you can actually have two case, local or on cloud. We can actually deploy with both of the scenarios, which are actually the for the actually the preference of the users. And OmniSite, all of the data for AMT Pro and EMCM, all of the data actually are available inside OmniSite. If you have as actually for one enterprise, let's say you have AMT Pro, EMCM, all the data is visible through Omnisite platform. Well, as I mentioned regarding the Omnisite software that we have already observed, you have complete visibility for all the assets and you have management view. You have AI powered intelligence if you want to deep dive per asset, and you have flexible deployment on premise, or hybrid, or cloud. It depends on your actually preferences. So, what does Artesis means to your plant? Let's actually wrap up here. As I mentioned earlier, actually, uh, Artesis detects both mechanical and electrical faults, since there are some questions here as well, with motors, three-phase, voltage, and current. For electrical, with Artesis actually strongest model, Professor Ahmet Duyar's model, based branch, model-based fault diagnosis, learns the digital twin of the motor, predicts what current should flow for the measured voltage, and watches how the model parameters change over the time, drift over the time. The training says this model coefficient drift is the main indicator for actually stator, winding faults, rotor-related internal electric change, insulation-related problems, and other motor internal electrical faults. So, a key differentiator is the Artesis separates internal faults. Did you see this case study that I showed earlier from external electric faults? Actually, Artesis separates internal electric from external electric. So it can tell whether the problem is likely inside the motor or upstream in the supply pass, such as cables, contactors, VFD output, or grid quality. For the mechanical issue, I will answer this important question as well. Maybe this gentleman will get the answer while I'm going to explain in mechanical faults as well, but in detail as well. As you saw so far, with vibration, you mostly can detect the mechanical faults. But how you are going to know the data of VFD, electrical lossless, grid quality, external faults or internal faults like insulation related problems, rotor related problems, winding problems, stator faults. All of them are really actually huge problems, and what mostly reliability team and maintenance team actually encounter on the field, and the team's nightmare are these faults mostly. For the rest, the pass is really simple for mechanical side. We are using residual PST branch. Actually, after the digital twin predicts the expected current, the system calculates the residual, the differentiation between actual and predicted model. And if the difference is more than normal, so what happens? We generate the fault. Actually, we generate the alarms, and for example, in the bearing frequencies, if there are any problem, misalignment, unbalance, and any driven equipment effects. Also, actually, we have both low frequency PSD and high frequency PSD. So for mechanical faults, you have residual PSD. For the electrical faults, you have important parameters that you can actually get this. Also, you have this health index and power, actually grid quality index in Omnisite dashboard. Well, how to get to start? We always recommend this path. You can start with 5 to 10 assets as a demo. You can choose them. You can install Artesis, and the reliability and maintenance team can get trained with this 5 to 10 assets. We can define KPIs like detecting faults, like improving optimization and efficiency. we can define these KPIs in the with common actually meeting with our dear partner. Also, our partner can define these KPIs. You can define together, and you can say in 1 month, 2 months, I expect these from you, which now with 90% of actually confidence you will see in the short term in 30 to 60 days that yeah, all are met. I detected that much fault for 5 to 10 assets. I saved actually the significant amount of cost, and I'm happy. So managers get happy, and companies, and actually huge amount of saving occurs in this condition. So you can review and scale, like in the video I showed, from 10 assets you can start, you can move up to 100, 200, and for critical assets you can use EMCM. For less critical ones, you can use this actually AMT Pro, like Shanghai airports in actually Singapore. They are using all AMT Pro for all of the rotating equipment. Well, thank you, dear ladies and gentlemen. That was so far I wanted to share, but I'm actually available for any questions, any points that you would like to ask. Dear Joseph, now we are on you.
We have received a number of questions from our participant today. So we'll go through the question one by one, starting from the earliest question in the chat. And after I read the question, you can share your response, and then we'll continue to the next one. And if we don't get to address all the question, we will keep the question and we discuss it later. So does that sound good to you?
It sounds good to me, but just
Okay.
please, dear Joseph, a little bit louder, or bring
Oh,
the
sorry.
mic.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
Maybe you
It's
can
fine.
start from the first question from Pak Widayat. The first one is, what is the significant difference between the Artesis ESA and the MCSA?
Great. Actually, great question. As I mentioned in the latest part, let me come to this slide. Actually, the main difference, dear gentlemen, is this. With MCSA, you just actually analyze the current, and mostly is the second logic I mentioned for the residual and PST. But ESA, you consider the supply voltage as well, supplied voltage to the assets as well. So you have much more huge data, and you can eliminate, because we are telling that we are analyzing everyone in the actually ESA and MCSA industry. The claim is this: we check the waveforms, inter and output, input and output waveforms. So the great questions here this: what if the supplied, the grid quality is low? What if the actually any problem in the grid occurs? So in this condition, we analyze this one as well, and ESA takes the both data for voltage and current. Some detail might be goes to know-how that uh, maybe in the separate email, dear gentleman can ask, and I can explain in much more detail. But the quick answer is this: ESA considers both voltage, input and output voltage and current. MCSA mostly defines actually matrices for the input voltage and output current only. That is the main difference.
Okay, maybe this is the same question from him. Uh, for what type of motor and what capacity is this tool optimally used?
For all capacities and all types of motors. Why? We have different products for low voltage and medium voltage and high voltage, also for generators as well. So everything that works with why I'm telling everything? Because as I mentioned, historically and currently, thanks to affiliations and partners that we have, R&D partners, we have a huge data set, and we are working with huge shops, and in 58 countries we are getting the data, a data set that works with 95% of accuracy, but the accuracy also day by day it increases. And just to be humble, we are saying this 95%, it is above this. So easily, for every type of motor, in every actually, we have cases for high voltage with VFD and actually VTs, voltage transformers. So in this case, perfectly system is working, and we are getting data and providing data. So in 30 years, we have this actually thankfulness that we had the chance to provide solution for all types of rotating equipment.
Oke, mungkin itu jawaban dari Babak. Mungkin bisa menjawab pertanyaan dari Bapak. And then we can continue to the next questions. How does Artesis ensure high fault detection accuracy without installing sensors directly on the machine, especially for early stage mechanical faults such as bearing defects, misalignment, and looseness?
Great question as well. Actually, for this part, uh, as I mentioned in the answers, we have the residual and mainly the PSD, all right, let's say the sensors with CT and actually voltage probes, we are getting voltage and current data. It's like this. This question is like this: how from my actually blood analysis or from actually outside listening, getting my actually blood pressure, how you can get that there is a problem in actually for my heart or any other actually uh, parts in my body. So here with voltage and current, what does Faraday and actually the root of electromechanics says? Every mechanical change inside electrical motor, every mechanical and electrical has both electrical and mechanical actually consequences. So for this gentleman, I can explain like this: when any problem for bearing, you saw in the case studies, we have thousands of bearing actually. Almost 40% of cases are bearing, let's say, and misalignment for mechanical side. I'm telling why, because easily these changes and faults in these criteria actually affects the air gap. So this air gap asymmetry leads to what? Considering actually this Faraday principle leads to change in the waveform of current and voltage much more clearly than maybe any actually sensor, mechanical sensor you would like to take. So here easily, well, actually, we don't claim like any replacement. We say every condition monitoring actually tool is complement for each other, and it is actually complementary, and it is like a puzzle. You should have them all right. But regarding the ESA technology of Artesis, as I mentioned, if you dive deep in the physics of how does electrical motor work, how does generator work, you can see that any change in the mechanical side leads to change in the air gap and leads to change in the waveform. So that is the main logic, that we know that for this input voltage, this current is actually abnormal, anormal. So the model and the brain of the actually products understands this and provides fault for you. And for each one, they are specific. I can actually explain in detail maybe just for this topic, we have one presentation that in the PSD and waveform shows specifically each of the actually parameters.
Okay, I hope that answers the questions, and we can move to the next question. How the digital twin modeling is employed to correlated correct modeling of various different type of motor and pump, since this method can be used to any motor.
Excuse me, can you ask again? I was opening the
Okay.
other
How the
presentation. Yes.
digital twin modeling is employed to correlated correct modeling of various different type of motor and pump, since the method
Great.
can be used to any motor.
Great question, actually. That's why I would like to, for answering almost all of the questions are coming from here. See, dear ladies and gentlemen, we consider motor as a transfer function, all right? That you have input voltage and output currents. So, considering this fact, all right, what you are going to have is this. I hope. Can you see this? See the screen?
Yep, I can see the screen.
You are seeing this. Voltages are changing, right? Sinusoidal.
Yep, it's moving.
Great, great. So here, as you can see, uh, the motor dictates the current waveform. See here, and for each voltage you have unique current. So while considering the motor as a transfer function, you can easily get the unique output current for each input actual voltage. And answers lies here. That first one, with huge data set of millions of motors that defines the normal current for this voltage, specific voltage. Also, the second side of the answer comes from here. Physically, we have some important mathematical equations that it shows which range the current and the healthy currents should work. See, this is the healthy waveform. This shows unbalance, the second one. Here, bearing defect, because of previous questions, actually, I shared this, but it answers this one as well. Broken rotor bar, see the waveform. So all of the faults, for every fault, we have huge data. It's like human health. 200 years ago, we didn't have any that much data because we didn't have that much actually knowledge for and tools for kidney problem. But now you are going to doctor, giving some information, and doctor can easily say, "Oh, you have this kidney," because of his data set, or he enters to his own system and can understand that you have what problem. Thankfully, over age is the age of data, and with this data, we can easily understand every problem, and we can generate the logic behind this actually data that we have, so we can detect every fault and problem much more clearly.
Okay, thank you for the response. And we can continue to the next question, I think. And the question is, can this AMT Pro replace the role of vibration analyzers?
As I mentioned, we actually, as a reliability industry and as a predictive maintenance industry, we don't see such a competition. Why? Because every condition monitoring and reliability actually device is must to have in current condition. Maybe in 2010, in early 2000, you could consider this as a nice to have. Why? Because global economy was actually skyrocketing in early 2000 until this 2010 and the recessions happened. Every company had actually different had this flexibility, but now every asset costs much more than one asset. So every unplanned unstops, every actually production stop actually is much more than just one simple stop. So here we don't have this flexibility, and with vibration, with electrical signature analysis, you can and we should actually we can and we should monitor. But with electrical signature analysis, I can answer like this: you can get much more comprehensive data. You can get mechanical and electrical data. So if you had one choice, if I was actually working as a maintenance engineer, if I would be the maintenance engineer and I had just one choice, I would start with electrical signature analysis, considering these data that I showed you.
Okay, thank you, Babak, for the answers. And then we can move to the next question. How your EMCM differs from previous version? Can it be used for VFD motor? And does it detect real-time detection of interturn short of stator winding?
Exactly, it does, and the answer is here. I hope you can see my screen. The answer is here for this gentleman, that with these coefficients that comes from one actually unique matrix that on the, as I mentioned, in 1990s while working for NASA, Professor Ahmed Duyar realized this, that rotor actually parameter, inductance, these parameters are know-how, but some inertia, friction, core loss, all of them are indicators of which faults, lows windings, stator problem, short circuits, and winding related electrical change. So these parameters are crucial, and we can detect with them, considering our know-how and huge algorithms that developed in almost 20 years. So the answer for this gentleman comes from actually this part. The VFD is really simple, actually, as I mentioned, from supply voltage and data set that we have easily, we can actually get the VFD issues. And one of the simplest parts is VFD, but this stator is what Artesis uniquely does and confidently does.
Okay, thank you, Babak, for the answers. And then we can move to the next question. Can the AI power analysis correlate operational anomalies or maintenance records to recommend corrective actions automatically?
Thanks for the question. Yes, exactly, and that is why we developed AI. Actually, Artesis Insight AI, to in order to actually describe every all the PSD data. I mean the actually detailed details into plain language, process faults or actually suggestions, recommendations that comes from partners, and as I mentioned, in 58 countries, from accounts, important key accounts like BP, Shell, and others, GE, and like this. So, considering this fact, easily we can provide recommended actions, recommendations, and root cause analysis.
Okay, thank you, Babak. And maybe I will raise this question. And this question is coming from the existing users of Artesis. So the question is, we have used Artesis, but in last incident, our plan unable to detect loss of wages impact to winding short of motor. Is it true that Artesis is unable to detect loss of wages in motor?
No, maybe there was a lack of actually data and input data and connection. We should consider this. Actually, we should dive deeply. For this gentleman, I recommend sending an email in detail and we can observe this case. But as I mentioned, 95% of the cases and actually data witnesses and testifies the fact that for all types of fault, this is actually almost impossible to actually not detect any fault and actually any problem, process related or any efficiency problem. We recommend to this gentleman sending an email, and we can of course analyze deeply. But as I mentioned earlier, with 90 the actually witnesses from, for example, like the cases Marathon Oil and Gas in United States for the similar case, we have available, and all of the cases like Tupra case and case studies that we mentioned, there is some actually problem maybe on the connection side or on the actually entered data side, or maybe the condition monitoring side of from the alarm came, actually it didn't get the enough attention, because this happens as well. Emails may on-premise actually installations most time, when it's cloud over team actually monitors frequently and periodically to see is there any alarm, is there any problem. But sometimes when it's on premise, uh, actually users ignores sometimes, or from the busyness or from the actually duty works, it doesn't get the enough attention, and after the alarm occurred, they can check, oh, we have got the email and we didn't take it seriously 1 week before, 2 weeks before. So this is also possible and can be the condition. But with emailing, I think we can actually provide a detailed report.
Okay, but thank you for the response. And then we can move to the last question, I think, because the limited time we have. So the question is coming from the pulp and paper industry. They have an issue in their mill where one of the motors with specification 200 kilowatts, 6-pole and belt transmissions experienced a stator burn. So for the past 4 months, the vibration monitoring result had remained normal. But however, after the motor was repaired, it was found on the shaft to inner bearing fit had loosened by 1.8 millimeters, causing rotor to stator contact, which eventually led to the burn. So he asking why was this issue not detected by the vibration analyzer, and can Artesis answer these solutions?
Just a second, I'm going to actually regarding the part that why actually the vibration detector couldn't get the detail. I can't actually move on to this part in detail, because mainly uh, we should move on in, actually we are moving on the ESA side. But regarding the can ESA detect, yeah, as uh, we mentioned so far, electrical signature analysis, considering the residual actually technology and residual logic engine and parameters, electrical parameters, easily you can get all the details. See, here is the residual method that I was talking about. Previously, we had this internal model. Here, we have what? We have the signal processing stage. So easily, with segmentation, with actually FFT, Fourier transform, and PSD, you can easily get all the necessary details. And when they asked for how, what are the actually differences for each segment, we can easily here show and prove that for regarding the PSD 12 band we have. Specifically, we standardize it. Each band shows the actually health index and condition for specific fault. And as you can see, for some bands and some faults, we have high frequency, and actually the sampling frequency also should be high, which is in Artesis, it is. So simply here we have the 12 I mean 12 band fault frequency and 12 band frequency references that easily they can actually get. So for all mechanical and for electrical faults with as I mentioned so far with four parameters that we had actually with four actually engine we can easily detect with 8 parameters there are for electrical faults. And for the mechanical faults, with the residual and PSD, easily you can detect all the possible faults and inefficiencies. Beside, actually, the pump performance monitoring that I have mentioned so far.
Okay, thank you, Babak, for for answering the last question in the session, maybe because we arrive at the end of this session because the limited time we have. So thank you for addressing all the questions that I have raised. So before we close
Thanks,
this
guys.
session, I want to share a little. We have seen how Artesis technology enables a smarter way to detect both electrical and mechanical faults by understanding how motors actually behave during operation. So this approach helps identify issues earlier, reduce unplanned downtime, and support better maintenance decision. So thank you again for your time. We really do appreciate of your time today. So if you have any message or any words to our participants today.
Actually, I would like to thank them all for the great questions, and I would like to thank you, dear Joseph and PT Tiara team, for being our partner. For I think how many years it has been now, dear Joseph? Is I think 5 years maybe
Yeah.
for being actually our partner and for arranging this meeting and webinar. We are always ready through email and with our actually partners channel for any technical and any actually any uh, technical or any issues you can reach us. Just dear Joseph, one last point that I forgot regarding to mention regarding this last question you asked. Maybe in this gentleman case, the vibration analyzer may not have detected this issue because the issue actually was internal. So maybe the intermittent weakly transmitted, and that is one of the reasons we need actually ESA to detect the air gap, eccentricity focus diagnostics, and actually all the other similar actually problems. So as Joseph also mentioned, with Artesis ESA technology, you can easily detect all mechanical, electrical, and process-related faults. Beside, actually, you can get the meaningful data with omni-site dashboard for energy management and asset management, and specifically with the Artesis Insight AI, you can get uh, all the necessary details just in a couple of pages for your assets, and you can have meaningful data.
Okay. Thank you, Babak, for the message you have shared. So, and again, thank you again for your time. We really do appreciate it. And then we are going to move to the next session. So in the next session, we will be giving away e-wallet vouchers to some of our lucky participants. And Babak, if you would like to stay in the session, you are very pleased. But otherwise, you may also feel free to leave if you have another agenda at this point.
Thanks a lot, everyone. I wish you good luck for all the participants. Thanks a lot, and wish to see you next time with next topics. Have a
Okay.
great webinar. Thank you.
Okay. Have a great day, Babak. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Oke, Bapak dan Ibu Sobat Tiara sekalian, itu dia tadi pemaparan materi dari speaker kita, Babak Danes. Nah, selanjutnya kita akan memberikan e-wallet yang sudah kita umumkan di poster. Jadi kita akan membagikan 4. 2 yang pertama kepada yang sudah bertanya. Jadi kita sudah mengumpulkan nama-nama yang bertanya di Wheel of Fortune ini. Jadi kita akan spin untuk pemenang yang beruntung. Jadi kita akan spin yang pertama. Oke, selamat kepada Pak Hengki Kris Bantaro sudah memenangkan satu voucher e-wallet yang pertama. Selanjutnya kita akan spin satu lagi untuk kepada penanya yang beruntung. Iya, oke. Selamat kepada Ikhwan Batubara telah memenangkan satu buah e-wallet voucher. Ya, untuk kepada para pemenang nanti akan dihubungi oleh tim marketing kami untuk selanjutnya. Nah, nanti akan diberikan juga 2 buah voucher e-wallet kepada yang mengisi feedback. Jadi setelah ini dimohon untuk Bapak dan Ibu Sobat Tiara untuk mengisi feedback di link yang sudah dikirimkan. Lalu untuk kita akan memberikan juga free e-certificate. Jadi untuk mendapatkannya dimohon juga untuk Bapak dan Ibu semua mengisi feedbacknya. Mungkin itu dia akhir dari presentasi dari webinar kita pada siang hari ini. Oke, ini dia link feedback ya. Boleh Bapak dan Ibu Sobat Tiara scan dan diisi untuk feedbacknya. Oke, mungkin itu dia sekian dari webinar kita pada hari ini. Semoga sharing di webinar ini dapat memberikan ilmu yang bermanfaat bagi Bapak dan Ibu Sobat Tiara sekalian ya. Semoga ilmu ini bisa diterapkan di plan dan Bapak dan Ibu Sobat Tiara sekalian. Apabila ada kekurangan kami selama dalam pemberian materi di webinar ini, kami mohon maaf. Selamat sore, selamat beraktivitas kembali. Sampai bertemu di webinar selanjutnya.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih, selamat sore.
Terima kasih.